Hello and welcome to the Solaris Offworld Combat Community Podcast, your source for Solaris news, tips, strategies, interviews, all kinds of good stuff, and so much more. Today we have a special guest. We have QUIKS1LVA. You know her from the Holofield. You may have seen her cosplay. We are joined by Big Yellow Bus, and we are going to be talking about the state of the game. There was a hot fix this week, new player influx, and we're going to do a deep dive into talking about the upcoming PSVR release. All that and more coming up. Okay, Quick, thank you for coming on our show. Very excited to have you on. I've been playing with you quite a bit in the Holofields. It's good to see your face and get to see you in your element. Go ahead and tell everyone about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be sharing and being part of the Solaris podcast. So a little bit about me. I have been a gamer my entire life. I've been an artist pretty much my entire life. A little history about my name. So how QUIKS1LVA came to be. I was always an athlete as well. I was always called Silva on the field, which is my maiden name. So my old last name. So it's typical. So people will be like, oh, hey, Silva, Silva, Silva. I was a pretty grungy kid growing up. I was into like the board sports, did a little bit of like skateboarding, some snowboarding. I worked at at Pacific Sunwear. So some people know about that. I used to work back when they used to still sell shoes. I don't know if they still do that. So I would wear a lot of like skate gear and things like that. And QUIKS1LVA was, it's a very popular clothing company. And I would wear it a lot, and people were like, "Oh, it's like QUIKS1LVA is like should be your name." And I thought it was really funny. And when my gaming name, back when we were able to play online, it was always just Silva. It was just Silva with like I think it was like a period, Silva period, whatever. And then with all the nicknames of like QUIKS1LVA coming up at work, and like people started calling me that at school and things like that, it kind of just stuck. So I became QUIKS1LVA. And I've been QUIKS1LVA since I was a teenager. So I've been like over like 15 years. So yeah, that's pretty much the history of that.
Nice.
I mean, but anything else about myself? Like you said, I am a cosplayer. I am a mom and a wife. I have 2 boys. I homeschool. I keep very busy most of the times. So if I'm not gaming, I'm usually working on some sort of artistic cosplay project. I love sugar and baked goods. I like to cook too. I like to draw on occasion when I have some time. But yeah, like gaming and cosplay are like my passions, and my family, of course. So
Very
that's
nice.
yeah.
Awesome. So why did you start playing Solaris?
I started playing Solaris day one. So I knew that it was going to be coming out. As I had mentioned, like I've been a gamer for a long time. Started VR gaming back in, I think, 2018. And I started with the PSVR, and I played the first contact Firewall 0 Hour, and it was super addicting. I fell in love with VR because of that game. It consumed multiple years of my life. I participated in leagues through Firewall as well. Always fairly competitive with that. And then I fell off for a little bit after towards the end of my like Firewall career. I know there's a lot of players who are still up and at them. And I just decided to focus on my cosplay for a little bit, which ended up being one of my very first VR cosplays, which was my Jag cosplay, which is a contractor from Firewall 0 Hour. It wasn't like explosion of popularity with that one because it's such a tight-knit community. So a lot of like the Firewall people were really excited about it. And everybody else was like, oh, it just kind of looks cool. So I just started focusing on my cosplay again, and I just fell off. And then when I heard that Firewall had Solaris coming out, I was like, oh, I gotta play. And we had a rift. So I was playing on that for a little bit, but my husband is also a gamer. So he was like, I think it's time to get you a Quest 2. And that's kind of it. So I've been playing since day one.
Awesome, wonderful. That's a nice story. That's got a little bit of background there, and you bring it full circle. Awesome. Well, we are actually being joined by a 4th co-host. Jay Greasy is in the lobby, and now he is here. And he's connecting to audio. There he is. Jay Greasy 95.
How's it going, everybody?
Coming in hot. Hey, man. How are you doing this week?
I'm good, man. Really just been hanging out, not doing much. Just woke up and ate. Really, just been hanging. I haven't been on Solaris all that much, to be honest. Just kind of, been watching TV, doing work and stuff. So yeah, that's what's been up here.
Okay, good to know that. Maybe if I keep practicing, maybe I can bridge that gap while you're taking a little break. Because
yeah, it'll be nice to see you on the other side again.
Yes, for sure. And Bus, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Mostly taking a little break from Solaris. You'll see me from time to time because I guess I'm a bit addicted and can't get away. But since lacrosse season just started for me, so I gotta focus on that a little bit more.
Okay.
And then I've just been kind of catching up on life, talking to friends, and catching up on schoolwork, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. You know what? So both two of you have mentioned like taking a small break. I think what's cool about Solaris is it is addicting in that like we keep coming back to it. But I think it's best, and I think I was talking to, it was either FX or, no, actually, you know what? It was Skinny Fat Man, represent UK, Mad Reapers US. We were having practice the other night, and we were just kind of talking in the lobby, and he said, I really only play this game when we have practice or when I have a scrim. And he plays Pop 1 other games, and I'm like thinking, yeah, you know what? That sounds about right. Once you've reached level 50 and you got your team, like I think this game is best consumed when in small chunks, and then you play other games. And that's the great thing about VR is there's so many great experiences. But I keep coming back to Solaris for some things we're going to talk about in a little bit, which is the Pro League coming out, the new player Rising Stars tournament. So especially if you're coming from a background like myself, who I am definitely I can become addicted to games, and it's nice to have a game where there's not so much to do that I can spend hours and hours and hours at a time. There's no grinding really. There's no, PvE element. There's nothing. It's just play, so it's saving me from getting in a bad habit with other games I did. But real quick, actually, we just took a vacation to southern Mississippi. And so I spent like 5 days down there. I had experienced a crawfish boil for the first time. So I think everybody here is kind of more northern or western. So I don't know.
Talk to me about like that crawfish, man. I love it so much. I spent a year down in New Orleans for grad school at Tulane. So we do that all the time. And just in addition to that, big New Orleans Saints fan. Sad to see Drew Brees go if that is the case, but
yeah,
we would always go there to watch some games, and even we found some place in like Florida that had crawfish that is top notch.
Okay.
Yeah,
see,
love that.
I have a small regret. I didn't try any.
Dude, come on.
Okay,
really?
Here's the thing. It's bugs.
What?
It's like it's got an exoskeleton. I have a rule. If I have to crack a thing open and
it's
suck
a
the
mini
meat out of
lobster, pretty much. It's like little mini lobsters. And,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't eat lobster either, though. I
Fair.
don't do any seafood. If it lives, I just think there's certain things that I believe we're not meant to eat, including pineapple on pizza.
I agree with that one. We can both agree on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that too, but I'm allergic to pineapple, so.
Okay. There you go. So anyway,
It's good.
What? Pineapple on pizza?
It's okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You either love it or you hate it. I think you just said it's okay. I didn't think there's anybody in that camp.
You know what?
No, there's some
agree.
pizza where it's like it's okay.
I think it's good. I think it's good. Sorry, I have to put it
Interesting.
like I just can't have it anymore because I developed a pineapple allergy in adulthood. So I can't have it anymore. So, but back in the day, I did enjoy pineapple on pizza.
Okay, I mean, whatever. That's a different debate. But anyway, I'm glad to be back up north where we have 4 seasons and it's not hot all the time. Anyways, but I had taken a small break from Solaris. We got to practice with my team, a couple new additions to the Mad Reapers, and it was awesome. We just ran through and just destroyed a bunch of teams. Played a bunch of randoms, but we got in with some new players, which I want to talk about. There was actually a hot fix this week. It kind of like a stealth hot fix because it wasn't really announced. Just a lot of people were talking about how they had to update the game. What they did was they expanded the wait time from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, which I've noticed the entire night that I played, we played 4v4s, and it was a lot more consistent getting 4v4s because there's a little bit longer of a wait time. So we actually got in with some new players as well. So it was a nice experience. It was nice to be on the giving end of a butt kicking versus the receiving end, but it was a good time. So this is where I want to get your each one of you, your sort of opinion on the current state of the game as it plays today, the last time you played it. How does it feel? What are your thoughts about where we're at right now? Quick, how about you go first?
Sure. There's definitely been some improvements. We were able to have round robins again, which is fantastic. That was very frustrating, and I was really scared. I thought that we were going to have a huge fallout of players when we weren't able to get those mics working. We have to do a workaround still, but it's still better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the wait time is better. I agree. So when we're able to get large, we're not having like the issue where we're playing like 3 versus 1 or whatever. So we're able to have more fair games now. I'm really enjoying seeing a lot of the new players. It's very funny about a lot of the new players coming in. They initially have such a hard exterior, if that makes sense. Like these kids will come in and, I'll try to be nice and help them out right from the start. Be like, yeah, I play other games like this. It's like they've been conditioned to push back on anyone who approaches them, in any sort of a manner, right? They're like ready to fight. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, welcome. And they're like, oh, hi, okay, cool. And I'm like, how long have you played the game? And they're like, oh, I just got it yesterday. So I slowly start to be like, all right, do you understand like the whole point, the concept? Let me go through these weapons with you. And by the end, they're so mellowed out. They're like, thanks so much. I hope to see you again. And that's like, it's really cool. So I've been enjoying seeing these new players and showing them that like, just because you've had a potentially really almost abusive relationship with other games, it doesn't have to be that way with Solaris. So it's been nice seeing the new players.
That's a wonderful conversation. I think I want to dig into that a little bit because you hit it. I never thought of it, but you hit the nail on the head right there, which is, people have such a tough exterior built up from negative experiences in other games that they're like, a lot of times players are either quiet or don't know how to respond to someone treating them nicely. Almost like they're like, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you being so nice? Like, what, like almost like they maybe feel like they're being messed with in some way, because so many other games are so terribly toxic. And it's like, to come into Solaris, it's like everyone's just chill. Like it can be off-putting at first. Like, why is everyone so nice? So it's like, that's such an interesting dynamic. And I will say it is, I haven't personally ran into anybody toxic in this, it's even like randomly, but like you said, you have to like break them down over time, like show them that you're not hostile. Like, I'm here to help, I'm here to just have fun. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a interesting conversation for sure. How about you, Jake, or Grazy? Sorry, Jake Grazy. I see your name on there.
It's all good. I think it's in an interesting place right now. Like, there have been some improvements. The squatting feature, having the offhand tracking is nice. Just basic things like that. Adding a new weapon, the shotgun, the implementation of that, that's up for debate. It is still a little bit overpowered, but I do like some of the changes that they made recently to it. So that's good. But on the other hand, we have been having issues with kind of this unbalanced matchmaking, even if it is like, the extra 5 minutes and you get that fourth person. It could be, 450s on one side, just in a random lobby versus new people. So I know that they're working on that. I think there definitely needs to be some improvements to that matchmaking algorithm. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. Like, I'm okay right now with kind of taking a break as well, because there isn't this new level of progression that is really present at the moment. Yeah, we can get a new skin or something every week, but kind of want something more, and the Pro League will definitely bring that. Having this weekly schedule where we're kind of building towards something in the end. So I do think that will be good for the game. Keep people playing a lot more regularly, certainly just for the matches, practices as well, and then maybe even as we're all playing more scheduled things, the public lobbies will get better and they'll like train each other. It'll be more kind of even playing field with us focusing on the Pro League. So I think it could be good for keeping the top level people occupied, giving them an extra element to the game, while at the same time creating kind of like a training ground where people can experience the game kind of like we did when we first started, where everybody kind of didn't know what was going on and they were all learning together. So I'm excited for that to start and see what ends up happening there. And you have to excuse me for that noise in the background. It's my bearded dragon who's scratching on the glass. He wants to get out. But yeah. So
okay, nice. That's all right. That's all right. You bring up a good point that I didn't think about too. Is you're right. So when the Pro League start, and when most of the experienced veteran players are probably only playing to practice or there may be practice scrimming and then their actual matches, that means they're going to be stacks of 4, and that's going to make the random lobbies possibly more balanced. You're very right. That might have some interesting unintended good consequences from that. And we'll talk more about the Pro League coming out soon. But man, that's a good point, is what it'll do to the random lobbies when we're all teaming up for a week at a time. And another thing is having the and also, I believe, so there's not been an official announcement about this, but it appears, if I had to put my tinfoil hat on, I would say that when this comes out to PSVR and they've gotten some time with it, my guess is season 1 will come out not too far after that, because we're still in the preseason technically. So I'm assuming when season 1 officially comes out, with Population 1, they just released their season 1, and there's a battle pass. And I'm not saying that Solaris will do a battle pass, or even if they want to or whatever, but it seems like that's what we're gearing up towards, is an official season 1 with more stuff and more whatever. But it seems like they're wanting to make this as good as possible, get it on PSVR, release it to the wild, and then maybe do something. That's kind of, if I had to predict, that's what I would predict. So, Bus, what about you, man? How are you feeling about the game right now?
I do like the new influx of players, because I got recognized out on the Hollow Field. They're like, "Oh, you're the legendary Bus everybody's been talking about. You can destroy everybody." I said, "Yeah, that's me." So I spent about the next 30 minutes telling us, "Hey, there's a Discord. We got a podcast. Why don't you come join?" And then so I did that. I don't think they like me much anymore, because I did that for so long. But with the little hotfix, there's people will be like glitching around, and like I was practicing yesterday with the loonies, and the other side was Pele and 4B, and they're already hard enough to kill on their own, because they're always like moving around when you're shooting at them. It's even harder when they start teleporting around you.
Yeah, I have noticed some more glitches. I've been seeing people posting them on the Discord. Speaking of new players, we ran into, when we were practicing on Monday night, we ran into a new player that it must have been his first or second game, because in the warm-up lobby, he didn't know how to run. So we were trying, all the 4 of us, we're kind of surrounding him and like trying to teach him how to run, but of course you can't communicate. But one of our teammates, it's Mason, he could actually hear the other guy kind of somehow. So he could like hear him getting a little bit frustrated, and we were like waving to him and like patting him on the head and trying to teach him, like, "It's okay, buddy." Like we're trying to teach him how to run. And he stayed with us for like 3 or 4 matches though, bless his heart. But it was seeing new players is always fun. The thing is, okay, what do we do now? Is our Discord is now like 315, so it's growing. It's like, what's the next step? Is to getting them in the community, getting them feeling comfortable, letting them know who we are, what we're about, all that good stuff. So it's good stuff. So okay, let's talk about the big issue, or not big issue, the big upcoming thing that everyone's either excited about or anxious about or nervous about. And one of the big reasons we brought Quick on this week is to talk about this specific topic, which is the upcoming PSVR release of Solaris. So I'm just gonna open it up quick. What do you got?
Oh man, I'm so excited because that's my family. Even though I don't play Firewall very much anymore, I'll occasionally make a guest appearance, and I'll play with my girls that still play and kill it on there. So shout out to all my Firewall ladies. But yeah, I'm really excited. I've already gotten messages from old friends, and they're already asking questions about like, who do we need to watch out for? Who's on the leaderboard? Like, they're coming to slay. Like, they're not coming to play. Like, they're super aggressive. They're ready for this. So they're very excited. So am I. Gosh, like, I'm kind of almost a little bit bummed that our team is like full, because it would have been fun to kind of like add some old friends to our teams now. But yeah, I think that it's going to be really great to get this caliber of like gamers who are kind of, well, it's funny because Solaris, even though they're, all these guys are super competitive and things like that, Solaris is so different than Firewall in so many different ways. The speed, like when I jump back into Firewall, I'm like, holy snail, like this is so slow moving compared to how fast we're constantly going. In fact, the day one when I had gotten Solaris, I almost returned it. Like I was like, I think I might refund this. This is just not the same. Like I was expecting something from first contact, and it was completely opposite from what I was used to. And I couldn't get the mechanics, like, just like every new player, they're like, oh God, like how do I run? How do I do this? Like, it was frustrating. But I gave myself like a couple more days, and then after that, I was really excited with the potential that the game had. So I think that some of them are going to play it, and they're going to be a little bit upset because it's not going to be how they really expect. They're probably not going to be as good as they expect themselves to be. But a lot of them will try to push to kind of make themselves known, and we'll already start pairing up. So we might have some new teams that will be coming together once they start getting a little bit more seasoned. But yeah, overall, I'm really excited to have it expanding into the PlayStation world and having it cross-platform. It'll bring a lot of great players in.
Yeah. So my question is, what do we do to? My biggest concern is, and I don't know if this is confirmed 100% or not, but I don't know if we know yet if we're going to be able to. I know we can play against PSVR, but I don't remember if they said we're going to be able to team up with PSVR right off the bat. So my biggest concern is, how do we keep this from becoming an us versus them, Oculus versus PSVR thing? Because that's not what we want. We want this to be one big happy kind of family community. So based on what from the PSVR community and the Sony side of things, how can we foster that sort of like relationship with them? What do you think?
That's a good question. I don't really know how to answer that. Like, if the players that I think are coming over are, and will be playing Solaris with us, and might, put Firewall to the side a little bit, it might be a tad challenging at the beginning, right? They're like PlayStation for life kind of people, like they many of them have their like PlayStation 5s and like have started, I don't know, they're very much into their systems, and and like they have their aim controllers and things like that, which also, that's another question I kind of am wondering about, how that's going to work with like Solaris. How are they going to be playing? At least from like the Firewall side, because everyone has like their aim controller. People are buying like their custom aim controllers now. It's like getting pretty serious. I don't know. I think they're overall very friendly group of players. So I don't think that there'll be a ton of that, but I'm not going to lie and say that there won't be a whole lot of like us versus them kind of situation. I don't know how to mend that, other than possibly like reaching out and making sure that we're communicating and speaking with them. Like maybe as soon as it launches, we kind of go into the Firewall. I'm already part of a lot of them. I'm an admin for one of them as well. So I can, kind of help bridge that gap to some extent, and kind of put out like the welcome flag. Like just kind of get it ready for the new players coming in. That's kind of it. Approaching them first, I think, will be the good thing. Will be the right thing to do.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you. What do you think about this, Greasy?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. It definitely, at the start, if we can't team up with them, will be us versus them.
Yeah.
It will.
So like, I'm cool with like having like a a friendly rivalry, maybe like at like Xbox PlayStation type
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I do hope we'll be able to squad up together and everything like that, because like I just think about how good our community is at this game, and there could be people who are even better potentially that like
Yeah.
haven't even played it yet,
Yeah.
like they haven't even
Yeah.
touched the game yet. So just
Yeah.
like the potential of talent out there to add to the game, and really that combined with just overall the public lobbies just training themselves and getting better. I mean, like the game could become extremely competitive, and like it could go from trying to fill a lobby, and when you do, it's like a few potatoes there, like to elite teams on both sides,
Sweating all the time. Yeah.
yeah, like or at least decent, right? Like I just want to like be able to like quick match into like a high stakes game every time. Like that would be ideal. Obviously may not have enough people even with PSVR to get there, but just like on the peak times, on like a night, weekend, something, just like get that level of competition up, and I'm all for having them come. I just
Yeah.
wish it happened sooner, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it could be a blessing in disguise given where the game is at right now. If they can get it to a really finely tuned point before it releases on PSVR, that could be huge just in terms of selling it there, because it'll be their first time, their first impression versus what would be coming into a game that is good now. I enjoy playing it, but it's not by any means finished.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is you bring in all this influx of new players that are they're playing in a different way too, because they have the aim controller that's two hands on at all times.
Yeah.
And I know the reason why they developed Solaris the way they did is because they knew they were bringing it to PSVR, and that's why we can't dual wield, because they can't dual wield. So it's interesting because when I hold, so I almost never bring my left hand up to hold the gun because it doesn't really do anything. It just visually looks different. And I'm just wondering how that's going to be when you have in your physical environment, you've got your hand on two, it's going to help your stability, you would think. And so I'm wondering if, especially with like the auto rifle, they're going to have like this laser pointer aim that with me and my shaky old arm over here, I'm not going to be able to get.
It's comparable to a gun stock, I would say. So I have a gun stock. I've used one, and you're right. Like with the AR, like at a distance, you're doing pretty well. Like it's a good line of sight. You're holding it straight, and it's not going to move because you have it like in your arm. But because it is like that, if you're running on like Fury 451 or something right past the middle point, somebody just pops out of that tunnel in front of you, it's going to be pretty hard to like bring in like the gun like that. So I feel like, given the majority of my encounters are pretty up close and like need to react quickly, I like not having that like impedance that would be like into my shoulders. I'm trying to like turn around or do something like that. So it's good for the long range, but I just try the best I can to do it. If I can get a long range shot, awesome. If not, I'll like chase them down and kill them that way. So like it's a give and a take. I feel, given the majority of the encounters are close, I'd go with just freehanding it. So they don't really have the option if they're using the aim controller. Right. So that could be a little bit of, just like something they need to adjust to. Well, just get good at doing it, I guess, because they'll never have done it before, so they wouldn't need to adjust that anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. How about you, Bus? What are your insights about this?
I will say I have many friends who play PSVR that are too stubborn to go buy a Quest.
Okay.
Because I'm like, hey, come join me and play all these games. And they're like, no, I'll stick with my stuff. And then I'll be like, all right, well, here's a game that'll come out for you guys soon where I can kill you and I can actually be good at the game. And so I hope they'll join in. And so just more players to like befriend, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't remember where I saw this, or somebody said it, but with their DualShock controller, I don't know if they said they would be able to use it, but like that would like their pinpoint accuracy with just moving their thumbs and not having to point their arm anywhere. They have to slightly move their thumb to lock onto us and destroy us.
That would be nasty.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So nasty if they could.
Yeah.
I hope that's not possible.
Yeah, interesting conversation. Yeah, for sure. I didn't think about that. I forgot you could do. I just assumed that no one would want to use a controller in VR like that. But I guess if you're really getting, I guess you could, unless they disable it somehow. I don't.
Maybe that's what Yuji's doing right now, man. Yeah. Maybe he's playing with a gamepad,
a Bluetooth controller. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. That would explain a lot. Yeah. So okay, my biggest concern, I think, is again us versus them thing, but also. This is more on like a selfish note. Like I started playing Solaris in January, so I'm still fairly new. But the community right now, it's like I almost am like weary of it getting too big because I kind of like jumping in a public match and going, hey, there's Big Yellow Bus, or there's Riley Bear, or there's La Bear Cake, or there's Greasy, and it's random, and I'm like, oh no, it's about to go down, and you know, it's like you start seeing these people over and over again. When it gets so big, and it's going to happen less frequently, and this is kind of like one of those things where it's fun playing with a new player. And all of a sudden I see someone I know from across on the other team, like, oh no, it's someone from that. It's like really good. I'm like, oh yeah, they're high on the leaderboards, and they're talking to other friends, like, oh no, so it's fun. I know that that's not going to last forever. We want this game to get bigger, of course, but we want to also make sure that the community, and even in the Hollowfield itself, stays civil and stays true to the community that we have so far. It's weird being a part of a game in which the community around it is the majority of the people playing said game. Like it's, there's so many games that have discords and little niche communities, but most of the player base is the community that we have. And so we have this sort of like, we have these agreed upon rules that we kind of play by, these like unwritten rules of like being nice and like, talking trash and stuff, but also like carrying people along and like being an overall positive community. And I would absolutely hate to see that go anywhere negative, especially, I've played a little bit of Population 1 and it's a good game, and but it can get pretty nasty in the lobbies before a game, and other games, especially free-to-play titles, but other games where the lobbies just can get really bad. And so I hope that never happens to Solaris, and I just hope we can keep positive. Okay, anybody have anything else on the PSVR before we go to Discord happenings? Okay, so Discord happenings. This is the segment of each show where we're going to talk about what's going down on the Discord. And I'm going to go ahead and start off with the newest thing that we're talking about, which is the Solaris Pro League. We are pumped about this. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen because I want to show everybody. And here we go. This is the Solaris Pro League announcement. It says, this is from a post from FX himself. It says, the drums of war are beating in the Hollowfield. The Solaris Pro League will soon be a competitive event where teams battle once a week leading up to a finale. So this is our big deal. This is like the Pro League. We're going to have a sign up ends March 10th, which is very soon. And we're going to be having weekly matches, and it's going to be a grand prize trophy and VR covers. It's going to be legit. And he inspires us at the end with the haiku, and I'll read it. It says, suit up, helmets on, Solaris Pro League is live, refrigerator. What beautifully said. Beautifully said. So sign up now if you want. There's a max of 8 people per team, but we have it's going to be awesome to have something to work towards. And I'm just excited to see each week, see it develop, and I hope that when we have it, we know like the standings, kind of like an NFL season. We're like, oh, Noah's 4-0, the Reapers are, undefeated too, obviously. And watching the standings and talking about it, and it's going to be cool to cover on the podcast, and just like, it's exciting. And I hope that everybody has a good time with it. So what are your all thoughts? Quick, what's your thoughts about the Pro League?
I'm excited. It's funny, like the day that they announced it, I had no idea, right? So I go into the Discord chat, and who was in there? I think it was FX and Riley were in there. A bunch of people were on there, and then they started asking me questions about like the competitiveness of it and like just their thoughts on certain things. And I was like sharing, and they're like, yeah, the Pro League. I'm like, wait, what? Like, when did this happen? Because like I've been so busy lately, I was kind of like, crap, this is like horrible timing for me. But you know, with it might be really good though, because we're allowed 8 players on a team, which is really great. Allows for rotation, so everyone doesn't have to feel obligated to perform every single weekend once we start.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I obviously, like, you know, Baggins were our teammates. Yeah, so I know that we were really excited. I kind of went over and spoke with everyone on our current roster. I was really excited. So just to kind of like put out there, so we have the Reapers are a huge family. So we have our Reapers over across the pond. So we have the UK Reapers and we have our US Reapers. We're overall, the whole Reapers are like super excited to be going into this, because we've all been practicing and training. It's an opportunity for us to get better and add new players to our squad. So I don't know, there's not much more to say about it other than I am excited. Everyone made some interesting, like good comments about how it might be good for the new players coming in. If we are all practicing with each other, it allows the new players to kind of play with themselves and get better, and hopefully we'll have future teams coming out of it. But overall, yeah, high hopes for it. It'll be fun either way. You know, like as you know, our whole motto, at least for our team, it's all about the fun of it. You know, we obviously want to do well and we want to train and get better, but in the end, we just want to have a good time and keep that fun camaraderie going and encourage other teams to have fun and do the same.
Yeah, and I think the thing is about, you know, this is there was a big tournament back in January, and that was awesome. And I wasn't really in the community so much yet, but I saw it going on, and that was awesome. But it was like a one-time thing. You know, you played, if you lost, you were out. This gives teams a chance to play over a season. You know, you can lose your first 2 matches, you know, and still sort of pick back up, and like, it just excites me, because you know the single elimination thing is really sweaty and exciting, but to have a league where it's the course of time and your team can grow together, and I'm sure some teams maybe only have 4 or 5 or 6, but yes, having 8 for me too. It's also a very busy time in my personal life too, because where I work we're opening up a lot and we're doing a lot more, and so I'm a lot busier now. But to know that we have 8 people, so it's like, it's not always going to be the same 4. And it's just nice to know that we're building towards something. And you said it best. It's all about the fun of it. It gives a little bit more urgency to things, but also there's a little bit more sort of, you know, you can get some bragging rights or some banter back and forth with other teams. There's something at stake. It's just like a fun idea. And I'm really hyped and pumped up for it. So Greasy, what about you?
Yeah, you know, like I said earlier, pretty pumped. I think it'll be great for the community, get some good competition going again. That tournament was a lot of fun. You know, win or loss, like it was just good competitive matches, I thought there. So excited to have that happen on a more regular basis, you know, play some games or matches with some stakes. And yeah, my team is pumped and all hoping to go all the way, but yeah, definitely have, you know, to start practicing, because like I said, we've all kind of been out of it for a bit here, so looking forward to getting going again.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So Bus, how are you feeling about everything?
I'm pretty excited. I can't wait for like the biggest upset, like Void loses to like the Reapers or something. Like just absolutely gets demolished by them.
We can pray about that. Let's take a moment.
Paul is gonna be pissed that you said that.
Yeah, it'll be really good competitively and having everybody come together for something big again and just having some great times.
Okay, so now you're part of the Loonies now? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I know most people aren't happy with that because they're like, oh, they don't need any more good players like you.
I
So who's?
yeah, I was like, what? Why the muscle? Why sending them more?
So who's on your? So who else is on your team then?
Oh, it's a long list.
You're not the one. It's not Yuji, right?
Yeah, it's UG.
Oh no.
So you got
Okay.
UG Wire.
I thought you were on blue.
Hold on, Wire's on your team too?
I don't. I got thrown in. They haven't officially said what part I'm in yet.
Okay, because it's red and blue, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not sure which one. Okay.
Yeah, there's Red Wire, UG,
man.
Molo, Nicole.
No.
So
basically
blue,
a death squad is coming for us all.
But we had to remember that it's not like, like, sorry, Wire and Loonies, but I mean, the Solaris globe does not revolve around just the Loonies. As we've seen in the previous tournaments, we have other killers out there. We have Riley, and we have other teams that are insanely good. We have Nolan Void, who were insane. Obviously, like, who were the winners of the last tournament. Like, that was really cool to see. So much competition there. Like, I was literally like completely taken aback by the level of competition that we had. I didn't see it coming. My predictions were completely off, but it was fun. That's the cool thing about it. We have so many great players on different teams, and it's only going to keep changing. And the dynamic will keep changing as we practice more and we play with one another and we keep scrimming.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm super excited to see how it all turns out.
This is like giving me chills because I'm thinking, like, you're talking about these teams, and I am a big sports fan, and so I'm thinking of like someone making like an ESPN thing where they cover all the teams and they're talking about the drama. Like, did you hear buses joining Looney's Red? Oh no! And like just like, oh, they should have seen them.
Ate the Ocho from Dodgeball.
Yes. Like coverage each week, like talking about like the teams and like who's on what team and how they play, and it's just like there's so much potential here, and it's exciting. I think we're all sort of like speaking for the community is like everybody's pumped. It's cool too. Like I said at the beginning, I convinced my friend to buy a Quest, and so he's on the search for his Quest, and I told him to get Solaris right away, obviously, and to tell him about the game. And I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, like there's this game. Also, there's like official teams and tournaments and all this stuff that goes on. And so like to have that kind of like to tell people like why this game is so cool, there's all this stuff around it too that make the game so much better. It's just, it's just amazing. I showed him the Discord, and because like it was funny because we hadn't seen each other since before the holidays. So we used to get together once a week, and his wife and my wife and I and the kids, we all get together and have dinner once a week. And the holidays hit, and in Ohio, our COVID numbers went way up. So we decided to just pause friend get-togethers for a while. Long story short, we saw each other again after the new year. And I didn't even tell him I got a Quest. I didn't tell him I started playing VR. I didn't tell him I was playing Solaris because we just didn't talk. And so when I did tell him, I'm like, okay, I have a Quest. He's like, what's that? It's VR. I got this game, Solaris. Started a podcast. He's like, what? What is going on? So it's like to have all this stuff, like to have these new people jump in. And I was talking to somebody I was playing with, I think it was GT Busby. I was playing with him, and he's like, hey man, I saw the podcast. And the other guy playing with us is like, what do you mean a podcast? So like, just like the organic growth of everything in the Discord, it's just fascinating, and it's so much fun to be a part of. So very, very excited. Okay, Bus, here's your time to shine. Friday Night Fun, share out. What's going down on Friday Night Fun?
So this week it was a big mess. We didn't have because I was stuck in traffic because I got sidetracked and went to Best Buy during Friday Night Fun.
Okay.
And so it was mostly just me and Joe. We tried to get Psycho in, but we had some problems. So we have this one great picture of where we drew week 4 podcast, and it was just pretty fun to have each other draw everybody. And we had the final version we posted on Discord.
Okay, good to know. Now, how ironic would it be if you got stuck in traffic behind a bus? Was there a? Sitting there's a big old yellow bus right in front of you. Okay, yeah. So if you're watching this and want to join up in the Friday night fun, we typically try to do a different game or a variety of games on Friday night. There's a channel on the Discord, hashtag Friday Night Fun. If you want to get involved, head over there and let people know. I've not been able to do it yet, but I really am looking forward to the Friday night where I'm not busy and I can jump on with you guys. Seems like you guys have a lot of good fun over there. That's one other good thing about the community is like the joining up to play other games. And that's another thing about it's weird because with Quest and the Oculus ecosystem, there's a good amount of games, but there's not a ton of games. So most people kind of play a lot of the same games. So if you're like, hey, let's go, hey, who all has population 1? It's like, well, most people have population 1, or putt or whatever, all these other games. It's like there's a good chance that someone else in our community is also playing that game, and you can team up with them. Another game I'm actually interested. I want to hear what else you guys play too. I'm obsessed with a game right now called In Death Unchained. It's an archery game. Ooh. It is sick.
That game is sick.
Yeah. It is so good. You're an archer and you have to go through like heaven and hell, and you get all these different bows, ice arrows, electric arrow. I mean, all sorts of stuff. And it's free motion, but you can teleport using like the bow and arrow system. It's a game where like you die and you get achievements, and you unlock achievements. It makes you more powerful in the game. And you beat bosses. There's 3 bosses. It's like it's awesome. So if you're looking for another game to play, it's a solo game that you can actually also challenge your friends. Because I think actually a couple of my Solaris friends are on the leaderboards for the In Death also. It's a fun game. Quick, what else do you play nowadays?
So I play Solaris the most right now, just because kind of with just trying to keep on top of it, especially with like the Pro League having started and things like that. I just kind of want to stay on top of things. So I try to get on at least like once or twice a week for a couple hours. But then when I'm not playing that, I play Pop 1. I did get to have some fun doing some like play testing for that, which was really, really fun before season 1 started. And I also play contractors, but not as often. A lot of my firewall friends that have the Oculus play contractors, so that's where I kind of go to meet up with them. Very realistic. It's fun, but there's a couple like mechanical things that I'm not a huge fan of, so I don't play it as often as some of my friends do. I'm also chugging my way through the Alex, the Half-Life Alex game right now. It's so beautiful, it's so much fun, but I am so scared of horror games and like zombies and monsters, so I have to really pump myself up before I play. So like I get on and then I get too scared and I just take my headset off and I have to like take a break and I like wake up the next day. And then I also play some single player stuff. I'm playing like Moss that I bought like forever ago. I'm finally getting to that. Catan I play a ton of now, so thanks Greasy for that. Now it's a whole new addiction. Like my whole family is like, we're playing Catan Junior now.
It's so much fun.
My kids into it.
Yeah, gotta bring them in young for sure.
Much fun. Yeah, my kids, my son, my oldest, like he's 6. He's sneaky, man. Like when he's able to play like eventually on VR, and he'll be competition for sure. He's weirdly like strategic for being so young. And I'm like, how do you think about these things?
That's good.
Yeah, it's great. He's a great thinker. He likes games like chess and checkers and things too.
Nice.
And then what else? And then I just started kind of getting into VR fishing as well. So that one's a new one for me. I bought it when it was on sale. So yeah,
that game is great. Also, yeah.
I still haven't played with the community yet, so I'm hoping to jump on with some friends and catch some fish.
Yeah, I think I played with Yuji, Joe, and Mentor of Souls like maybe a month ago or something. We just hopped on, talked for like 2 hours until our headsets died. Like it was just we were just fishing. And one thing you can do in there is you can have your own browser that you can actually listen to like music or like watch something like while you're fishing.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Just the environment makes you feel like you're outside. If you like maybe have like a fan blowing on you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great game. So you can sink hours into that if you're just trying to
Right.
relax. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
That's
I do
awesome.
supernatural as well. So I do like fitness, like
Oh.
VR
I
fitness.
haven't tried that one, but I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it like similar to like Synth Riders kind of? Like, have you played that where you have to kind of like
No, I know what you're talking about. I have not played that. It's a little bit like Beat Saber, honestly. Like
Okay.
it's not too different from it. You know, it's like the same thing. You have like the bats, you have like baseball bats instead of like sabers.
Yeah.
And it's cool. You move in a 360 motion. So I don't really play Beat Saber, which I had a lot of friends yell at me about. Sorry. Like, not playing Beat Saber. I have too many games on my list. So
Yeah.
but like supernatural, like it's cool. And it's, you know, obviously it's fitness. So you do a lot of like squats and stuff. My husband got involved, and you can have like 4 accounts on one membership, which is neat as well.
Mhm.
And it's cool with the environments as well. The music's good. The environments are really fun. They have like realistic environments. You can travel different countries and do your workouts while you're like surrounded by nature, or they'll like put you on a planet in space or something. It's really, really cool.
That's nice.
It's a fun way to work out. I don't mind working out, but I don't like working out. So
Yeah, that's
But I
awesome.
must.
That's all of us.
I know.
Yeah.
Some people love it. I'm not
No,
one of those people.
I'm not a fan. But like, what is cool is since they like put in Oculus Move, I can see if I play Solaris for a few hours, I'm like, oh, 200 calories, cool. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I had a small workout today, whatever.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's awesome. What about you, Bus? What do you play? What do the youths play these days?
I've been going through the app lab stuff lately.
Okay.
Last night I found this game called Tiny Castle in there. It's really cool because it involves hand tracking. You get to like shoot stuff, grab a bunch of stuff, throw it at people, and it's kind of like Star Wars, but with your hands, not just the controllers. And then I kind of played Hyper Dash, but can't really get into it that much because it's not as fast paced as I'd like it to be. And then I don't really like the teleportation stuff.
I don't either.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that came out recently, and that was something that I think I'm not interested. I know that's mostly just because I only really have one room. I only have room for like one multiplayer shooter in my life. Like I've got my oldest son is almost 3, and I have a 6-month-old baby, and I got a full-time job. So it's like I can play video games when I get the boys to bed at night. And it's like, okay, Solaris, all right, or something else. So like I don't have any more time to like sync anything into another. So I had to be very choosy. So that's why Solaris, and I'm obviously involved in the community. So it's Solaris for me. And I'm like a diehard. When I pick something, like it's iPhone, it's Apple. It's like never Android. Like when I get my thing, it's my thing forever. So it's I'm Solaris until I die. And then, whatever. And that's how it goes. So
I have played Hyperdash a decent amount recently. Like mostly because it has just different game modes. Like it's if I'm trying to do like that 3-button mode, I think it's domination or something. That is just wild, having to like keep all 3 of them pressed, especially on like some of the bigger maps. And like it does add just like that community's roaring right now. Like every single game is full, people, pretty good competition. So for right now, like different modes, I enjoy it, but Solaris is still like the game mechanic and like the style of play that I like the most.
What's funny is I think with VR, more than any other sort of like system or game like ecosystem, to me, I'm so interested in like the games I play. I want them to be so drastically different, because like when I play a game, I want a completely different experience. Like I don't want to play another archery game because I already have an archery game. Like
that's fair.
It's like it's different. And I wonder, because of VR, it's like I would never in my life ever would I've bought a putt game for the PlayStation. I wouldn't have done it, but I bought one for VR. Awesome.
I bought both of them. Yeah, and the reason I did is because while they are both, putt games, they're slightly different, with Topgolf actually having like the driving range now that you can like play Top Golf at from your room, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So like I do agree in terms of like splitting up the experiences, because it's like, oh, tonight I want to be an archer, tonight I want to like go be in the army or something, tonight I want to go whatever, and then it just takes away the decision of, okay, now which type of archer do I want to be tonight? Which type of soldier do I want to be? So I do get that, but yeah, for me, just I have them for slightly different reasons each one.
And quick, you mentioned Moss. I bought that too. It was actually in like a bundle, but that's the game that is not a game that I ever would have bought on a regular system. But I freaking love it. Like, you put the headset on and you're in their world, and you can see and you can look around and you can manipulate the environment. It is so cool, but it makes it even better because it's VR. I would have never played that kind of game on any other system. And so I'm learning, and I was telling my friend this, I said, when you play VR, like, open up your mind a little bit to experiences that you normally wouldn't like on a regular flat screen game, because when you're in VR, you're in the game. Like, it consumes you. And so it's like VR fishing. I actually hate fishing in real life, but the way you describe VR fishing, I'm like, let's go. Like, I want to do it. It's like, so it's like, I wouldn't even fish in real life, but I'll fish in VR. So open your mind a little bit with VR. I think you can have some interesting experiences.
One game that's similar to Moss. So I haven't played Moss, but I know it's like a platformer kind of. One game that's similar is Ghost Giant. I'm not sure if you've played that one.
I've heard of it.
I got that in a bundle, or it was on sale or something, and the storyline was fine. It wasn't anything crazy, but just the mechanics of it, being able to like be this larger than life figure kind of looking down, like manipulating the world and stuff, was pretty cool. So that's another one if you like that style of game.
Indeed. Yes.
I played Moss on I had done the demo of Moss on the PlayStation VR, and I never ended up buying the full version of it, but I always remembered it. So it was really cool to see it on Oculus. It's like, oh, finally, like, I can just knock it out, because I haven't been playing much of the PlayStation VR right now. So it was fun being able to finally kind of go pull the trigger and play the real thing.
Yeah. Always watch out for those bundles. You can get some good games, and that's actually how I got Solaris. I got it in a bundle. So, okay. Well, quick, I want to give you an opportunity to plug all your stuff, all your social, everything you're doing, so everyone can find you outside of this podcast and outside of the Holofield. So tell us where we can find you.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, most of my stuff outside of here, I don't do like game streaming or anything, at least not now. Like, we'll see in the future. I just been so busy. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to do game streaming as well, but I do a lot of cosplays, and right now I am busy working on a commission for Starcade Arcade, which is a really cool game. It's going to be coming out. They do have a demo on Steam, so if you are interested in playing Starcade Arcade, check it out. It's kind of like Snake, like the old school Snake, but in VR. So you get to control this giant space Slurpee. So I'm building a space Slurpee right now. You can kind of follow my adventures on how I'm doing that. And then I'm working on my Half-Life Alex cosplay. You can kind of see it here. So I have like my Half-Life stuff. And over here, I'll bring you my little pet. I'll show you guys. He's wearing a top hat right now.
That's awesome.
So I sculpted it and stuff like that. So you can kind of see all the fun things I work on at QUIKS Cosplay. So it is QUIK and then cosplay. And I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Nice. Yeah, we'll put all the links to all her stuff in the description of the YouTube video, so you can check her out and follow along in her cosplay journey. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never done cosplay, but I'm fascinated by it, because the things that people are able to create are outstanding, and some of the stuff I've seen you do is pretty amazing too. I think the first time I ever saw anything you did was your Pop 1 cosplay, and I think that was. I didn't even know. I thought I was looking at like the game, so I was like, but anyway, yeah, it was awesome.
I'm working on a new Pop 1 cosplay right now too. It's not quite done yet. So You guys can kind of check that out.
Oh, that's not the golden PJ.
The golden PJ. So it's in
Very
the works.
nice.
So yeah, just follow along because I have a lot of fun projects. I also take like what do you call it? Like suggestions. So yeah, so if you ever have a suggestion for something that you'd like to see me do in the future, not now because I'm so busy, but like in the future later this year, like let me know and I will do my best to bring your fake like virtual reality into reality. Oh, and then one last pitch. So I also started, is it like a coffee or Ko-Fi? So it does get pricey and it does get expensive. So if you guys are ever interested in supporting, I have some fun giveaways and things in the future that are going to be coming up as well. So if you want to follow me, I will also provide the link for my coffee as well if you want to pitch in and help me out.
All right, awesome. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Follow her along, support her, check out all of her stuff that she's doing. And you can find us on this podcast if you're watching it on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure to leave a like and spam the comment section with emojis or let us know how we did. Leave us a like or rating on the other platforms as well. So people can find us. What I want is when people Google Solaris Offworld Combat, I want our stuff to pop up so people can get a better idea of what we're all about. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Until next time, we will see you on the Hollow Field. Peace.